Hello there, this is Kayte Sabaker with Tested.com doing my favorite things of 2023. This year I have a lot of favorites and it was hard to pare them down, but I think I managed. Let's take a look. This here is the mask that I made along with my partner in crime, Mel Ho. Mel designed these masks, I fabricated them, and then there's some brilliant technological workings inside. So if I plug this one in, you can see when I talk that the lights are changing on the front here. Let me get a little closer to the microphone so I can say, hello, and you can see how they go. I'll switch this switch here, have it constant on. You can see the full color spectrum. So there's a microphone inside, and when I wear it as I talk, it makes the lights go with my voice. The other cool feature of it is motion activated. So as I move my head, these eyes are activated and just go crazy. We demoed these at Maker Faire this year, Bay Area, and we got a really good response. I had such a good time doing it. Obviously, the color and the style is just my taste. This was a lot of fun to do, and you might catch Mel's mask in their video as well. All right, keeping in line with masks, one of my real favorite things is this clay. This is the Premier clay, and it is a lightweight stone clay. When I was making these masks, I really wanted to use as much natural and somewhat environmentally friendly materials as possible. I wanted to stay away from foams and plastics. So this mask I ended up using celluclay for, but I was so surprised at the end to feel how heavy it ended up. So when I was starting on Mel's mask, I was like, there's no way with the longer shape of it that it would be light enough to wear if I use celluclay. So I decided to go into research mode. You can see I've got some samples here. I created 4 almost identical cardboard samples with some paper stuffing inside so I could create some dimension. And then I coated them with all of the clays I could find. So this one is the celluclay that I used on my mask. And it definitely took the longest to dry, and it's one of the heaviest. And obviously you can see it has this crazy texture, which worked great for a lizard mask. But when I went to see the other ones, I found that some of these are a lot more lightweight, and some of them are a lot stronger as well. I went through and I tested all the corners to see, like, okay, at what point does it snap? And let's see, I would say this DOS clay is almost as heavy as the celluclay, so that one was out right away. It became a toss-up between these two, which is the Creative Paper Clay and the Premier Stone Clay. I ended up going with the Premier Stone Clay because it was just a little bit lighter and a little bit stronger and dried faster. So all of these are great options. Again, Creative Paper Clay, Premier Stone Clay, DOS Clay, and celluclay. But of all of those, the Premier Stone Clay was my favorite. Now, in order to do this video, I had to go buy some more because for our project, I used every ounce of the packages I had. And of course, I just bought out the store again. You can find this anywhere. I think I picked this up at Michael's. So look around. It's inexpensive, it's lightweight, it's air dry, and it's somewhat environmentally friendly, I think, as much as it can be. Yeah, check it out and let me know if you make anything with it because this is so much fun to work with. I think a lot of people do stuff with kids with it. Now these were a Christmas present for me last year. And at first I wanted to roll my eyes at it because it felt like a gimmick. It is LED flashlight gloves. This feels like something you would see on TV in the middle of the night and be like, oh brother, I'm gonna get that for my grandpa. But since I had them, I decided to give them a try. I'm gonna pull out these gloves here. See? So I'm going to put my index finger, my thumb through there, then you wrap around your wrist and use your Velcro to secure, and then you've got your button, click. And suddenly you're coming from the future, maybe from Tron. I don't know, maybe this is what I wear when I just want to cosplay as someone from Tron. So here we have my techno gloves. And I have to say, I was recently working on the animatronic robot that Mel and I made with MK Ultra. And when I opened up the back of the bread box, I have to get my hands deep inside, find the certain screws in there, find the missing wire that came unconnected. I thought I was gonna say these aren't useful and that I was just casting shadows, but it was awesome. It lit up absolutely everything I needed. And because there's 4 lights and they angle with your fingers, it's always pointing somewhere you need it to. It's fairly convenient in that it keeps your hands pretty free. I don't like to wear a lot of gloves when I work because you need, your fingers and your hands to be able to do stuff. So this just feels like the perfect option. These also came with some backup batteries. So if your battery dies, you can swap them out. I mean, time will tell like how useful these are in the long run, but I really like them right now. It's a fun gimmick and I think it was pretty cheap. So, I mean, why not, right? Now this is quite a fun one. This is the, okay, I'll be honest, I don't exactly know how to pronounce it. Control AX. I know that it's based on the fact that Control A is select all and Control X is cut, and this is a cutter. So the cool thing about this is that it's in essence a X-Acto knife, utility knife, whatever you want to call it, but it's ultrasonic. So it's doing all of the hard work for you. It's doing all of the pressure, and it's cutting through some insane materials. I couldn't believe exactly how much they say you can use. So I have the user guide right here. It says everywhere from plastic, expanded PVC foam, plywood, acrylic, rubber, leather, foam filament, ABS, vacuum former sheet, PCB, carbon fiber, resin, and even plywood, which sounds crazy until you use it. I'll say this, I was doing some test cutting, and as I was seeing the different settings, it starts at the lowest mode, then there's a middle mode, and then there's like power mode. And when I got to power mode, I started to smell something, and I was like, oh no, this motor is burning out. Like it's smoking, I can smell it, ugh, it's cheap, it doesn't work. And then I looked down, and really it was that it was cutting so well with no pressure from me that it went through my styrene, through my table topper, and into my wood table surface. It was like stuck in the wood surface. I had to pry it out, and that's what was smoking because it was working so well. So it kind of is mind-boggling just how well this cutter works. I have a few materials here that I can demo exactly what it goes through. So I have some very thin styrene, and then I have this sort of, I don't know what you call it. It's the cross between foam core and, maybe ABS or styrene or whatever. Let's take a look at how that works. So the way it works is it comes with this little torque wrench. There's a set screw here, and you can unscrew that. It basically loosens up the collet, just like a Dremel rotary tool. Pull your current blade out, and then you can choose from a lot of really cool accessories they have. So here's a little baggie I have. This attachment is super cool. They call it the scoop. And at first I was wondering what I would need this shape for because it is so curved within the chisel blade on the end. And when I saw the example they gave on their website, it became increasingly clear how amazing this is. So they were showing the underside of a 3D printed part, and there were some supports in place. They used this tool to go along underneath the support of the curved object, and it just cuts those right out. So essentially you can hollow out pieces of plastic, anything. It says it even works on some carbon fiber, which is crazy. So the scoop is really exciting. This one is like a mini chisel blade. It's a flat tip blade, but it's so thin. And one of the examples they gave for that is taking off bits of solder from a circuit board. I know one person here at Tested that's going to be very excited to try this out, especially because it requires no pressure at all. It's like you just touch it and it does the work for you. So that could be really nice. And here is the little sawtooth blade, which works really well, obviously, on harder materials, things like wood. They have examples of like whittling down wooden dowels with these. I'm pretty excited to use this as like a shaver on the sides of projects. I haven't been able to use all of these yet, but that's sort of one of the most exciting things, is knowing I now have this tool in my arsenal and, okay, what can I do now? Like, what project can I think of to use these for? I'll report back if there's any failures or if something just works so well that I can't get enough of it. I've ordered a ton of extra blades already because I know that I'm a person who likes to change my blades a lot. So I didn't want to be stuck without one, but it'll be pretty exciting to see just how far this goes. This is just so much fun to use, but highly dangerous. It comes with some protective gloves just to make sure you don't accidentally cut through your fingers because it just cuts so easily. Here is my last favorite thing, and I think I was saving it because it might be one of my all-time favorite things at this point. Now, it's not this vest, but it's what this vest represents. This year, I was able to get to know better some people that you might have seen before, you might have seen me interact with before. There's a podcast called Thank the Maker, and it is a Star Wars-based podcast that has a lot of tie-ins with the music industry. A lot of the people involved are either current or former members of bands, and they host this event called Mosh Isley. I have now been to 2 Mosh Isleys, and I have a ticket for my 3rd one coming up. It is such a wonderful place where you show up and everyone there is just so welcoming. One of the things that I think I was having struggles with before was accepting my interests and the things that I liked and owning who I am and being unabashedly me. And that's something that this community has given me. So one of the core tenets of this group of fans is basically no gatekeeping allowed, especially with Star Wars, right? There are a lot of people, oh, I like this movie. Oh, really? You like that one? I didn't like that one. That one sucked. Or they're coming out with a new show. I bet that one's going to be terrible. And this community is not like that. They're like, you can, complain to your friends if you want to. Don't send those messages out into the world. Don't post them on the internet. Don't come to a group of people trying to celebrate something and harsh on it. Basically, don't yuck my yum, Just because it speaks to you more than it does to me doesn't mean that one is better than the other. So it was really great to open my eyes because I have to admit, even though I am, personally a diehard Star Wars fan, maybe I was being too critical of a lot of things. And it helped me take a step back. I was able to embrace more of the movies, more of the TV shows, but more importantly, connect with people in a way that I haven't before. The other part of it is Mosh Isley really celebrates a certain kind of music, and everybody gets together and you dance to your favorite songs from high school, and you have a lightsaber in your hand and you're dressed up, maybe in something Star Wars themed, hopefully. And you're enjoying yourself in a way that not a lot of people let themselves enjoy life. I think I was hiding from certain music that I liked that other people didn't like because I didn't want to be judged. And here it's like, no, everybody likes what they like. So this was a vest that I made for my 2nd Mosh Isley event. I did kind of a riff on, there's an image that was made where it's like punk rock Leia. And then also there's another image where it's like tank girl Leia. So on the front, I just gathered some of the pins and patches that I either have owned for years and never was using, or some that I recently purchased. And I did a lot of iron-ons, some pins here. On the back, you can see really how it ties in. These are actually replicas of the patches from the punk Leia artwork that is out there. And it was really awesome. I felt like I could wear this vest and it represented a bit of my interests, but it also was like, it was so different than a lot of other ways. When you go to a party or a club or something, you're maybe trying to look a certain way. And this was very like utilitarian. It's super comfortable. It had pockets everywhere, something that ladies don't always get when they go out at night. So it felt great to be able to like store all my stuff in it. But it also just was wonderful to be able to feel like, oh, I'm getting to put my own artistic spin on something. I'm not going to dress up as an existing character. I'm going to kind of riff on it. And you see a lot of that at the event. So some people do mashups, some people, you know, stay true to a character, but everyone is having fun with it. And I just think that this community is something that I'm really thankful for. I've now joined the Discord server. I have people I can talk to about going to, you know, Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland whenever I want to. I can ask questions about how to get the collectible Chewbacca Life Day figure that was sold out. It's a really wonderful place to be. I think that the people in charge of the event are super warm and welcoming and just want to make a fun, safe, welcoming place for everybody to gather. The next Mosh, I believe, is happening in February of 2024 in Orlando, Florida. So if this sounds like something that is your cup of tea, join in, come be part of the community. If it's not your specific cup of tea, I'm still talking to you because everyone needs to find their place where they feel warm and welcomed. I think my quality of life has gone up so much since I found a place where I feel like I belong. So if you feel like you're in search of a place like that for you, look around because I think that they exist. We've gotten to a place where it's easy to be pessimistic and think that we're all alone and isolated and everybody just dislikes things on the internet. But if you all get together in real life and have some fun and hold a lightsaber, I think everybody's gonna be a lot happier. Those were my favorite things of 2023. Please reach out, let me know if any of these resonate with you, if you have any tips or tricks that you want to share with me, or any projects maybe that you make with any of this stuff, or especially if you want to join the cool Mosh Isley community. Stay tuned for all of my friends' favorite things, and hopefully I'll see you again next year.
I can't thank you enough for supporting us by watching the channel. If you've been to our merch store, you might want to head there again because we are always updating our roster with new products. Here is the anime-inspired Tested logo in Japanese, one of my all-time favorite new designs. We're also selling Tested mugs and Tested hats. Oh, and if you want a cup of tea, we're selling that too.
Tested-store.com.
Tested-store.com.